what's poppin'? It's your boy MBM, and I am him. Yo, so today I'm gonna be showing you cats how to mix your beat down inside of FL Studio. This is for my new users. The next video, I'll be showing you how to master your vocals with this beat also. Man, doesn't get any better than that. Look, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, tap that bell notification, that'll keep you in tune with all the latest content I drop. Leave a comment below, that helps with the YouTube algorithm to get this channel growing and going. Also, I'll leave a link in the description for my SE page. Go over there and check out some of the vocal presets I have. I got Logic templates, Studio One templates, and even an FL template. So man, it's enough over there for you to check it out. Man, without further ado, without all the talking, let's jump straight into what we came here to do, all right? So you already know what we got to do. Let's get it. All right, man, so here we go. First off, let's duck this stuff down. Let's get this out the way. So I'll just play the beat real quick. It's going to be pretty loud. Wait a minute. Let me go to the actual pattern. All right, so that's super loud. So we want to start fixing that now. So I'm gonna mute all of these and start off with the kick. Now, before we do anything, if you do, like I said, if you got ozone, let me stretch this back a little bit so that way we can see everything. Now, if you got ozone, put ozone on your master. Make sure you take off the limiter that be on there. I know it's a limiter that be on there, so I'll just create something from empty if I were you. But if you already got a template, that's cool. So ozone gonna be my first plugin that I put on my my master channel, and then from there, all I'm gonna do is turn it to IRC at the bottom. I'm gonna turn on True Peak, and I'm gonna take the ceiling down to negative 0.1. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. Just make sure you got the threshold off, and you add your imager up here as well. So if you don't know how to do that, it's super simple. Plus, and then add your imager. Boom. All right, so that's the first thing we want to do. Now we want to have a pass meter. And then you want to change the detection to RMS, so that way we can detect the RMS of our beat. I like to have things around negative 12, 13, just so that I can put vocals on it, rap, and have enough headroom for plugins and stuff like that as well. So we got that on there. Now let's start off with the kick. The first thing we're gonna do with the kick, these are super simple steps, man, especially for the new beginners. This is just an easy method for you to do. So with the kick, I like to use a clipper. My favorite clipper is the TR5 Classic clipper, so I'll use this clipper. I turn the slope down a little bit, and then from there, I like my kick to hit around negative 3 dB on here on the gain reduction, so that way I get a nice sound with my kick. Like I said, these are simple steps that I'm showing new beginners, but if you're a seasoned vet, you can use it too. Before I do any of that, I forgot one thing, man. Let's actually turn this off. I think I did it already. So first thing I would do is, before we do any of that, I would actually gain stage this instrument. So let's click here. So with the kick, I'll definitely turn the kick down to where I see it at. Let me bring this up so we can have both of them up. My kick, I want to be at around negative 12 dB. So, and how I do that is with the kick, I just actually turn down this gain stage knob right here, so that way I can have negative 12 dB with my kick. I never use the fader knobs. I don't use these at all. I'll use this right here, which makes it super simple. So that way I have enough headroom to add plugins and stuff like that. So I can actually put a classic clipper on and push it without my song clipping. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'll do to the kick. Now I just may add a little EQ to it. So I'm gonna use the F6 RTA. I'm gonna roll off some of the bottom, just a tad bit. I don't do much, and 24 is perfect. That's why I like using the F6 RTA. So I'm gonna go 24 with this. Maybe clean up some of the top a little bit. get a nice sounding drum. So let's turn our classic clipper back on. And then I'm gonna look at my my ozone, just to make sure my kick not hitting all the way up at the top up here. And that's the thing about being able to use True Peak and having a classic clipper on it. You able to push that kick a lot louder than what you normally do. You can actually push that kick. So I always pay attention in here as well as my imager. My imager, I am detecting phase issues here. I'm just checking out. I'm making sure that I'm not dropping below 0 here. And if you're dropping below 0 when you're done mixing, that means you do have some phase issues and you gotta, get back to the mixing. Okay, so we know that our kick is in mono when you see that slope going straight up. Stereo, you'll see it panning left and right here. So let's close that out. Now we're gonna go to the 808. Now with the 808, super simple step. What I like to do with the 808 is I added a F6 RTA. Now with this one, I like to take a band and I like to go with the hertz around 65, and then with the Q, I'm gonna turn that up to 17 because I'm gonna add a slope in 65 to clean my 808 up. And then my gain, I'm gonna bring it down to around negative 9.7. You can do it all the way up to 10. So this is what my 808 is sounding like, and if I have to gain stage it, I will. Okay, cool. So that's fine right there for me. Like I said, it gives me enough headroom to mess around. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to add a, let's see, which one do I have? Do I have a Shadow Hills mastering? I'm gonna start with the Shadow Hills mastering. So what I'm basically what I'm gonna do here is I am gonna add nothing but optical threshold to this. I'm not gonna push anything else but this button right here. So I basically want to bring my 808 down. It's a step, but trust me, it's gonna work and it's gonna make your 808 sound really good. So right around that level, I like to have it around -5, -7. Just between those two, I like to have it right there. And then what I'm gonna add now is some distortion. I'm gonna add the black box analog. So if you don't have these plugins, go get them because they're lifesavers, man. I'm gonna turn on the alt tube. And you see what that does, man, just by adding some air, some tube saturation to it, man, it cleans it up. It makes it sound real good. So I'm going to bring that 808 down now. Now, I'm going to bring the kick in. And as you can see, the 808 and kick are not fighting with each other. The 808 is ducking just a tad bit, a little bit. And how I did that to make sure that they don't clash with each other, I just click on the 808, and from there, am I on the 808? Hold on. No, I'm not. I click on the 808, and from there, I am going to go to, wait. This is my 808, right? Yeah. So what I did was use the reverse polarity on the 808, which it kind of just, to me, it just takes a little bit of the 808 and duck it just a tad bit so that 808 and kick is not clashing together and is not creating a whole muddy sound and vibe to your mix. So therefore, if you knew this is a way that you can duck your 808 under your kick a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's like ducking your 808 and kick for dummies. You know, not talking about you, nothing like that. But it just makes it easier for you. So on a kick, no. And then, you know, from there you can balance your track if you want. Then the next thing we're gonna go to the clap. I am going to take off the Valhalla and everything off of this. I just want to make sure if it needs to be gain stage, I'll bring it down. Wait a minute now. Hold on, Big G. I'm trying to figure out what is that on my kick, bro. Okay, so let's take the Valhalla off. Now let's look at the actual clap. I'm gonna bring that clap down a little bit. And now I'm going to turn the reverb down just a little bit because we don't want the reverb to clash with our vocals and other instruments that we're using. So that way we don't create a muddy mix. So I'm going to bring that reverb down. Now, if you don't have a treated room, throw some headphones on, listen to your reverb through the headphones. It'll make it a lot easier so that way you can't hear your reverb. Especially if you're you know, you're putting it directly on your track. Now, if you got it on the bus, you can create it from the bus a lot easier. But I throw it straight on the track, man, just to speed through. And as you can see, I'm bringing it down so that way it doesn't clash. Next, I'm gonna move on to the snare, and if the snare needs to be, so let's take all these off and just play the snare. So I'm gonna bring that snare down, and on the snare I do. So with the snare and a clap, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna roll off. So I'm making this easy for you. So if you got an EQ, you're gonna slightly roll it off to 100 because the 808 and the kick sit in the 100, 60 to 100 areas. So you don't want the snare, you don't want the clap, hitting in that area because therefore you're gonna create a clash between all of them, and then the beat's gonna sound super crazy. And then just give it a little top end, you know what I'm saying? Pause. Give it a little top end right here. Bring it up. So with that one, you're gonna click on this band right here, and you're gonna go to number 6, and just bring it up some so you can add some clarity to your snare. And I am gonna bring the kick down as well, so that way, you know what I mean? Like I said, we're gain staging this track as we go. So with the snare, I'm gonna bring it down. And that's fine right there. So I'm going to bring back everything. Let's see. Hold on, man. Who kit do I have in here? Let's go with Durkee Kit. Let's add the Lex Luger clap. So you got that balance right there. So the next thing we're going to go to is the hi-hats. Now with my hi-hats, I like to pan it to the left just a little bit so that way the hi-hat will sound full. And then with the hi-hat, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the clap and the snare. I am rolling. So pretty much everything, every instrument, you're going to roll off you're gonna roll off 100 on it. You're gonna roll off 100 on the frequency, so that way you don't clash with any of the instruments. So therefore, the 808 and kick can breathe alone, and they don't have nobody fighting with them. So I am going to add a reverb as well to it, but with the reverb, I'm actually, let's see, I'm gonna bring the reverb down as well. But let's see if we need to actually, do we need to gain stage that? Let's see. Take the kick, clap, and everything off. So you definitely want your hi-hat to sit up there a little bit so that the hi-hat will sound full. And now we're gonna go to the open hi-hat. The open hi-hat, the same thing. So you can just drag this EQ straight to the open hi-hat to make this really easy. So therefore, matter of fact, I'll just show you right off top right here what I'm gonna do. So this is what you're gonna do with the snare, the clap, the hi-hat. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go and we're gonna add F6 RTA mono because all that is in mono. So therefore, I'm gonna roll off some low end. I'm gonna power it on. So from there, I'm gonna take this to 100 and you'll see where it's playing at. I'll show you right now. Now I just wanna add a little bit of clarity to it. So I'm gonna go to 6, I'm gonna click right here. And then from there, I'm just gonna add a little gain. I'm gonna take this to about 5,000. And I'm gonna bring the gain up just a little bit. And another thing I like to do with the open hi-hat is I like to add a little delay. So let's find the H delay. Where are you at, buddy? So I'm gonna go to the H delay. And let's take this to a half note because the BPM is 150. Remember, anything above 120 will always be a half note. Let's turn the analog off and then let's bring this dry wet down some. Okay, so that's what we got right there. Now, we got the crash now, so let's bring the crash in. Same thing with the crash. Let's see, how can we just copy that over, man? I'm not familiar with the copying thing on here, man, so I'm just going to do that again. I'm going to have to work on the copying matter, man. So super simple, though. I said we're going to power that on, 24, roll that off to 100, and you'll see that this sit right with the hi-hat as well. So I'm gonna bring that down a little bit. Let's close this out. Let's start this from the beginning. So with this band, I'm gonna click here so I can add a little bit of high, some clarity to it. So I'm gonna take this to about 5,000. Remember that. Man, I'm giving y'all some straight game right now, bro. Like, I wasn't even supposed to be this long with the video, but it's all good. Now with the piano, I am going to add some things to it. So with the piano, we got the F6 RTA, and we're going to roll off the bass part of the piano. We're going to take off some of the top end of the piano, and we're going to boost it. So the same thing here. I got this pushing to 1. Let's actually, let's play it. Let me play that by itself because it may need to be gain staged. Okay, so now that we had a piano gain stage where we want it, now what I want to do now is let's click on the piano. So the first thing I'm starting off with is the F6 RTA. So like you see here, we rolling it off. We doing the same thing we did, but this time we want to clean it up a little bit because pianos do have bass in it, but it's just that feel that we like when we doing it. So I'm gonna activate it, and this is what we got. So that's what we got with the F6 RTA stereo. And then this is another plugin by UJam. I believe it's free. I think it's still free right now. I'm not sure. But this is a plugin by UJam I like to use. And it's called Earth. It's called Earth. So I'm going to activate it so you guys can hear it. But they have a lot of presets in here that you can use. As you can see, they got Infinity, Space Grinder, Cab Room, Big Hair, Earth. They got a lot you can use, but Earth is the big one. Man, shout out to my man H-Law Tabs. This is something he used and it's super dope. So yeah, this is what I like to put on the piano. Let's play with the beat. Then I like to add stereo delta. I like to add width to it, so therefore we can spread that out a little bit. Now, one thing we haven't got to was looking at our imager. We definitely want to go check our imager out to make sure we don't have any phase issues. So I'll play this with the stereo delta on there. Now remember, with the stereo delta being on there, and if you do see it on your imager and it is spreading out, it's because you're adding width to it. So don't worry about that. Okay, and then another cool plugin that I like to use. Let me see, where is it at? I think I do have it. It's where is it? Where is it at, man? Okay, man, I don't know where it's at, man. Let me make sure I'm still recording up there. Where is it? Man, I'll be forgetting the name of these joints sometime, man. Well, let's move on for that. But I didn't bounce it. Now, usually I'll bounce down the audio the MIDI to audio so I can add reverse to it and stuff like that. But this is just to show you guys how to mix. Adding effects, we'll do that later. So. So now with the pad, let's bring the pad down a little bit. With the pad, we're gonna add the same type of clarity with the pad. The same EQ, man. But this one, I'm actually adding a Chris Lordau on this one, the CLA Effect stereo, and I'd like to have the distortion. So I'm gonna take off the long delay, take off the tape phase. I'm gonna take off the room reverb, the drive, and the EQ. I am gonna leave at B. The slap I'm gonna cut off. So let's turn this off real quick. Turn the pad on. Let me make sure I am not in mono. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check for phase issues. So I'm going to look right here, and I just want to make sure that this is not dropping below 0. And you know what I mean? I just want to make sure it's not dropping below 0 and we don't have any phase issues going on. So let's play it. The next thing I want to do is I want to play this in mono. I want to mix this in mono to balance out my beat a lot better. So I'm going to turn this on mono, and then from there, I am going to start balancing my track out. So when you're mixing in mono, what you don't hear, you want to bring up as far as your instrument. So just say, for instance, if I had the piano and the piano was down here. So let's bring all this down. Okay. So this is what I'll be doing in mono. So you see what I just did right there? I just basically balanced my beat out to make sure that the level was hitting around here, so that way I have headroom when I'm getting ready to master this beat. And if I need to go over anything else, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go back to the imagery. I'm gonna pay attention again. Yo, I'm really giving you guys super game right now. As you can see, I'm stuck up here at the top. I'm good to go. Everything is nice and fine. Man, it's bleeding pretty good. And then far as, let's see, I got this little vocal on here that I played around with. Let's see. I'm going to actually, now with your vocal, you can do the same thing, but we're going to save that for the mastering video, all right? And that helps a whole lot with doing that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, this is pretty much how I break down a beat. But this is for noobs, man. Like, the deeper steps, I'm going to be putting up a video for that, man. And it's crazy, man. Like, it's way more to mixing tracks than what you think it is. And this is the reason why I like to do separate tracks. So if you bounce this down as a stereo track, you will have a dope beat once you master it. You don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying? You mixed it. You already know how the 2-track going to sound. So, yeah, we'll do that as well. As far as doing a 2-track too, you know, bouncing this down, then recording to it as a 2-track, as well as if you're recording to it as a separate track. It's your boy MBM. I hope y'all learned something, man. Stay tuned for the next video. I got you guys. Don't even trip, man. It's the mastering on how to master the track and get it going, man, and get it out there and whatever you're trying to do with it. Much love to y'all. Y'all take care, and I'm out.